What Hamilton sketched in the Fiorano simulator wasn't a setup, it was an escape route. Instead of complaining about the SF-25's flaws, Hamilton did what no Ferrari driver had done since Schumacher. He demanded a rewrite of steering and brake mapping to suit a style no one at Maranello was prepared to accommodate. 2 closed-door days in the simulator followed. Engineers labeled his requests unworkable. He insisted anyway. Then something shifted. In the Spa sim run, lap 24, low-fuel brake migration mid-corner, Hamilton managed to stabilize the car's exit delta, a zone where the SF-25 usually snaps loose. No celebration, just silence. And then he said, "Now give me that on the real track." That wasn't arrogance, it was a code. If Ferrari won't arm me, I'll build the weapon myself. While Leclerc continues to follow the team's main setup path, Hamilton is constructing his own. Technically, emotionally, symbolically. And the first move in that chess game happened far from cameras. Something is broken in the way Ferrari interprets its own limitations. And Lewis just proved it with numbers. Ferrari gave him data. Hamilton gave them a blueprint. After the simulator breakthrough, Hamilton didn't wait for approval. He created a document titled Phase Shift Protocol, a personal setup strategy blending aero balance manipulation with brake phase realignment. Not part of any official development path, but he didn't care. He sent it to Vasseur, Sarah, and the lead performance engineers with a note. "This is not a request, it's what I'm running." Inside the factory, that document caused unrest. Several engineers saw the new strategy as a challenge to their authority. But Hamilton wasn't seeking consensus. He was forcing a change in tempo, from reactive to predictive. His protocol included early ride height trigger points, specific torque thresholds, and a sequence that could realign tire temperature deltas mid-stint. It wasn't just about making the car faster, it was about making Ferrari think faster. What Leclerc saw as instability, Hamilton saw as untapped aggression. And with every detail in that blueprint, he wasn't asking to be heard. He was daring them to keep up. In the Mugello filming day, Ferrari tested hardware, Hamilton tested obedience. Officially, the session was about gathering aero footage and promotional shots. Unofficially, Hamilton had slipped in specific requests to trial settings from his phase shift protocol. Rear brake bias variation, ride height drop under DRS load, torque ramp smoothing. None of it signed off by the performance board, yet all of it quietly implemented by 2 sympathetic engineers. When the car rolled back into the garage, telemetry showed reduced rear snap, smoother entry rotation, and, most importantly, consistent rear axle stability under mixed conditions. Ferrari's aero chief called it noise. Hamilton called it repeatable evolution. But it wasn't the data that caused tension, it was the method. He bypassed process, and Ferrari noticed. Within hours, Vasseur reportedly confronted Hamilton. "If you change the car without telling me, how do we lead?" To which Lewis replied, "By following the truth, not the hierarchy." That moment didn't just split philosophies, it exposed a deeper truth. Ferrari had a system, Hamilton had momentum. Only one of those is faster. Leclerc trusts the car, Hamilton trusts the pattern of failure. When Charles speaks in debriefs, he defers to the data. He asks about tire life curves, corner speeds, aero deltas. Hamilton listens.
The car in its next updates. But every major modification comes at a cost. Time, resources, and above all,
it's not pessimism, it's pattern recognition. He's seen this movie before. And in his version, Ferrari always waits too long to react. At Spa, Ferrari introduced a new rear suspension to gain ground on McLaren. But Hamilton didn't care about McLaren. His war is internal. His battle isn't lap time. It's control over the feedback loop that keeps Maranello reactive, not proactive. During the last internal strategy session, Hamilton interrupted a slide presentation mid-sentence to say, "This plan only works if the race goes exactly as expected." How often does that happen? No one had an answer. Leclerc looked uncomfortable. The engineers went quiet. Because
particularly regarding lateral stiffness and dynamic height adjustment under race conditions. The pull rod setup, while promising
chaos, miscommunication, and changing grip. That's where he thrives, and that's where he's building his legacy. Not in dominance, in defiance. Hamilton isn't driving a Ferrari, he's driving a fracture line. Every lap he completes now serves two purposes: performance and pressure. While the stopwatch tells a story of minor gains, the radio logs tell another. Coded questions about tire surface temperatures, brake migration limits, and throttle trace behavior. But behind the technical lingo, there's a pattern. Hamilton is pushing the car into edge cases, deliberately, not to break it, to break the illusion of stability. At Spa, the SF25's suspension upgrade lowered its operating window. The margin for error shrank. And that's exactly what Lewis wanted. Because when the car is at its most sensitive, decisions matter most. And every time he hits that knife edge and survives, he proves the old guard wrong. He's not adjusting to Ferrari. He's forcing Ferrari to reveal itself. Who they listen to, who they protect, who they fear. This car wasn't made for him, but now it answers to him. Through every unstable exit, every twitch on corner entry, the team learns one truth. Hamilton isn't here to be compatible. He's here to be undeniable.
Dilemma in
Ferrari
modern
measures lap
F1,
time.
choosing
Hamilton
between
measures
technical
consequences.
reliability or pure
After each
performance.
session,
And
the
Ferrari,
checks
for now,
splits
has
and
chosen
sector overlays. Hamilton checks radio transcripts and decision timestamps. He's tracking something else entirely. Delay. The gap between problem recognition and response. Because in modern F1, speed isn't just on track. It's in the minds making choices. And at Ferrari, choice has always been chained to tradition. Last weekend, during a damp simulator run, Hamilton purposely asked for a tire switch mid-stint, knowing it was the wrong call. He watched how long it took engineering to flag the error. 38 seconds. Then he said, "That's the delay that loses us Spa." It wasn't a test, it was a diagnosis. Now, as Ferrari rolls out what they call aggressive optimization, Hamilton hears something different. Panic disguised as progress. He's forcing clarity through discomfort, triggering confrontation to expose the system's limits. And that's his gift. He doesn't just find the weak point. He stands on it, looks them in the eye, and waits for the structure to crack. They brought Hamilton for titles. He brought them a mirror. From the outside, Ferrari's ambition looks clear. End the drought, win with a legend, restore the myth. But from the inside, Hamilton's arrival exposed a deeper crisis: identity. For years, Ferrari's culture thrived on ritual, chain of command, slow consensus, polished image. Lewis walked in and asked, "Who's accountable when silence fails us?" And no one had an answer. In one closed-door meeting, an engineer presented data adjustments post-qualifying. Hamilton interrupted. "Is that correction based on error or denial?" The air shifted because that's what he does, not just demand answers, but redefine the questions. His presence isn't friction. It's friction made strategic. Vasseur wanted a driver. He got a catalyst. Every message Hamilton sends, every memo, every question, every mid-session suggestion is a pulse test. Who resists? Who aligns? Who hides? Because to Hamilton, performance is just the surface. Beneath it lies truth, and truth makes people uncomfortable, especially when it wears red. Hamilton didn't join Ferrari to complete a legacy. He came to correct one. This weekend at Spa is more than a race. It's a trial by pressure, not of Hamilton's talent. That's already myth. It's a test of Ferrari's capacity to let go of pride and embrace disruption. Because if the car improves, it won't be due to some magic upgrade. It will be because someone dared to challenge the system that built the failure. Hamilton's story at Maranello isn't one of redemption, it's one of confrontation. Against slow decisions, against risk aversion masked as caution, against a culture that romanticizes its past while fearing its future. His documents, his simulator work, his direct challenges, they aren't rebellion, they're blueprints. And each one lays a foundation for a Ferrari that thinks faster, reacts sharper, and stops hiding behind legacy. As the paddock watches sector times, Hamilton watches people, behavior, resistance, change. Because he knows cars win races, but only culture wins championships. And that's the real machine he's trying to rebuild.